Welcome back for another benchtop review of the Ruger AR-556. This is the 4-year update on the Bargain Carbine video that I did, which managed to get about 23 or 25,000 views and several hundred comments. And most of the comments were actually very constructive, so thanks a lot. A few negative Nancys out there, but that's okay. Hey, listen, when I bought the gun, it was the first AR that I had owned in quite a number of years. My lifestyle changed, everything changed for me, and I changed my life around a lot, and I focused on different things. I was deeply involved in the firearms community for a number of years on the assembly and the fabrication side and the custom shop side and gunsmithing. I went ahead and moved into more of an executive function, so I wasn't out there doing any shooting. I wasn't doing anything fun for a number of years. So I had an opportunity to buy a cheap Ruger AR-556. I just wanted to have one just for fun, and I to be honest with you, it's a rabbit hole, right? Once you jump down the rabbit hole, you never know where you're going to wind up or how things are going to turn out. I started competing again, which is like, heroin for somebody like me to get back into competition. So I got the gun, went to the range with it a number of times, put a few thousand rounds through it in its base configuration that you saw. I had a great time with it. Wonderful, wonderful gun. No problems whatsoever. And then I was like, oh, I think I could be a little more competitive if I upgrade the trigger. So I called my friends at Hiperfire, and they were kind enough to send me a trigger. Thank you very much, guys. Hyperfire, fantastic trigger, just wonderful. And then I was like, I'd really like an ambidextrous charging handle. So I went and put a Raptor charging handle on that. Great. Called my friends at Vortex and said, I'd really like to try a low power variable instead of a red dot because my old eyes and my astigmatism aren't working real well with a red dot anymore. Let me try out one of your Strike Eagles. Great. So they sent me a Strike Eagle and a base. Okay, I got that. So put that on the gun. And I was like, if I've got an optic on there, I really want a flat top gun. Oh, geez. What am I going to do? Let's put a rail on this gun. You know how it goes, right, guys? Once you jump down that rabbit hole, out comes the credit card and things just take on a life of their own. I called up Stinger. STNGR. There you go, Stinger. You see them advertise their stuff on Instagram and you see their advertisements place to place, and I wanted to give them a try. Could I have put a Geisley rail on there? Yeah, sure could have. Didn't really want to spend $4,500 on a Geisley rail, so I tried this. Or a Midwest Industries, $275 rail. Paid like $135 for the whole shooting match with a new gas block and low pro gas block, because remember, the Ruger front sight post and gas block combo is not like a mil spec deal, and you're going to have to put a low profile gas block on anyways to put a flat top rail on there. So I did that. And then I was like, geez, the gun jumps around a little bit more than I really like. It's a carbine length gas system. It's got a lot of gas coming back. It jumps around a little bit. So how can we fix that problem? Well, let's put a SureFire ProComp on the front. Okay, so. And then, every gun needs three things. It needs an optic, it needs a sling, and it needs a white light on it. Okay, so I threw a Crimson Trace single CR 120, 123 light on there. It's like a 300 lumen light. Is it the brightest thing in the world? Nope. But does it work? Yeah, it's great. Okay, so then I was like, geez, I'd really like some ambidextrous control so I can, lock the bolt handle to the back and lock the bolt open. So I put one of those little Magpul bad levers on there. That is the cleverest deal in the world. If you train with it, understand how to use it, and use it appropriately, it's a fantastic thing. BCM Gunfighter Grip, as you guys know, I put those on all of my AR-15s. Ruger SL handguard, that was like SL stock. That was one of the first things that went on the gun. All right, so now we give you the lowdown. We started with like about a $500 gun, and you've got the very expensive trigger in there. I'm an industry insider. It didn't cost me that much, so that's very nice. And I've got an optic on there, Industry Insider, didn't cost me very much. The Stinger handguard, which I paid full price for, didn't cost me very much. It was like $135 at the time for the thing. And the SureFire ProComp, $56 delivered. And that Crimson Trace light, I believe, with the pressure pad, and the zip ties came for free. So there you go. I think that light was like $50 when I got it. It works great. Okay, so now everybody was very happy with the way this gun was in the very beginning, and I got to be honest with you, I was very happy with it as well. It shot great. It was just a good utility gun, just a great way to get back into the sport and to go out and enjoy myself shooting an AR-15 again. Fantastic. Boys and their toys, couldn't leave well enough alone, and I got bit by the competition bug again, as I might have mentioned in some of my other videos that you might or might not have seen. And being bit by the competition bug means you have to change things. Okay, to be competitive, you need to change the trigger. All right, I did that. Put a flat top on there so you can better control recoil. Put a compensator on the front so you can better control recoil for your follow-up shots. Did the gun kick around a lot in its previous configuration? The answer, surprisingly, is after this upgrade, there's a vast difference between the way the AR-556 was from the factory as to where it is now. Remember, you're dealing with an over-gassed carbine length gas system from the factory. So you're returning a lot of that gas back into the action. It's moving really, really fast. And it's going to bottom out and cause a lot of felt recoil. Okay, what do I mean by a lot of felt recoil? Is it going to bother 99% of people in the world, aside from like a freaking 6-year-old? The answer is no. It's a 5.56, people. It doesn't kick around an awful lot, does not have devastating recoil. But to be competitive, your follow-up shots matter. So I put that on the front, kind of deleted the problem on the backside. All right, that being said, nothing really changed on the inside. Now, how has this gun been over the past 4 years? Mechanically, fantastic. No problems whatsoever, not one malfunction. I've got several thousand rounds through this gun, both in competition and in training, no problem whatsoever. I loan this gun out to people at competitions because they're very expensive AR-15s. For whatever reason, they show up to a carbine match. For whatever reason, their gun doesn't run. They get up, they have problems either with ammo, they have problems with the gun, etc., etc., etc. So a lot of people wind up borrowing this gun. I bring it as a backup gun. I've loaned this gun out to no less than 8 people at matches with problems, and they all say the same thing. I don't tell them what it is when I give it to them. I just say, here, shoot this. The gun is sighted X at Y. It's got a 100-yard zero. Your holdover is this. Enjoy yourself. It's got a really nice trigger. I think you're going to have fun with it. The answer is always the same. This is one of the nicest shooting guns I have ever dealt with in my life. I have a Daniel Defense. A lot of comments will come back. I have a Daniel Defense. My Daniel Defense doesn't shoot this good. Well, that's very high praise, considering a Daniel Defense is a tier 1 gun. It is a top tier, top dollar gun for what it is. High quality, very well built guns. They're wonderful guns. And for somebody who has one, who spent that kind of money to actually say to me, this gun shoots every bit as nice as that, is really something. Then I tell them what it is, and they start shaking their head. Okay, now let's be honest. You start with a $500 gun, you start putting rails and optics and triggers and bad levers and Magpul stocks and lights and compensators on the front. You start getting up there in the dollar count. But on a Daniel Defense, you still have to, well, their furniture is very good from Daniel Defense, so that's not something you have to worry about. You're still going to need an optic, a bad lever, and a muzzle device from some of their guns just come with a standard A2 birdcage on there, which is fine. They'll have a longer gas system, and they'll have a rail on them from the factory. But you're talking about a $1,600 to $2,200 gun to be compatible with this. I believe all in the way it sits At my pricing, what I paid, I think all in on this gun, I think I'm at, let's see, 3, 5. I think you're about $1,350 all in. Not too shabby, huh? The gun runs fantastic. Nothing has been changed on the gun. Maintenance parts have been changed. The recoil spring assembly, the recoil spring has been changed because it had, it reached the point where it needed to be changed. The extractor and ejector spring have been changed. The barrel remains the factory barrel on this gun. After all the rounds I've put through it, steel case, brass case, gilding metal jackets, copper jacketed, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. I keep this gun very clean, spotless clean. This gun still shoots about an inch at 100 yards. If I do everything I'm supposed to do with good ammo, this gun shoots every bit as good as a Daniel Defense, if not better. Ruger put a hell of a barrel in this gun, and that's really all that matters. So this is your update, folks. Just a few simple changes on the gun. Yeah, basically, we're almost tripling the purchase price of the gun when you start getting into optics and triggers and rails, etc., etc. But you're going to need an optic anyways. No matter what you do, you're going to need an optic. That is not an expensive optic. That is a Vortex SureFire. Strike Eagle, pardon me. Good Lord. That is a Vortex Strike Eagle. That's a 1-6, their first generation. Does it work? Absolutely. How's this gun do with that optic on there? Well, I can smack steel with it all day long at 476 yards. No problem. So if I spent twice as much on the optic, would I hit any better? The answer is no. My eye works good with this optic. Is it the best glass in the world? Nope, most certainly not. Is it adequate? Yes. Does the quality of the glass work for me? Absolutely. I don't have any problems. Edge to edge, there's a little bit of distortion outside of the field, the center of the objective area. Does that bother me? The answer is no, because I'm not looking anywhere but the center of the objective area, and the distortion is not so great that it bothers me while I shoot it. So, cool. Is it fast? Yes. This gun is super fast. The trigger is a work of art. The barrel from Ruger is a work of art. It is highly accurate barrel. This is it. This is your update. This is 4 years of shooting with this gun. As a primary gun, then as a backup gun, and then I let a lot of other people that I'm either teaching or shooting matches with borrow the gun as a backup. It's a wonderful piece of equipment, just as it sits. You can build the same gun for not a lot of money, folks, but please start with a factory gun, and everything basically that you're seeing on the gun, the rail, the brake, the optic, the pistol grip from BCM, the gunfighter grip, and the SL stock, those are only cosmetic changes. There's no fundamental changes to the gun. I think that the Ruger AR-556 as a base platform to build off of is outstanding. They've done a nice job with the gun, and it works. So there you go, folks. In a nutshell, there's your 4-year update. I've shot the hell out of this gun. Other people have shot the hell out of this gun. Just keep it clean, keep it lubed, keep it maintained, and this gun has just been an absolute rock star over 4 years. So there you have it. The last video I did on this gun got about 23,000 views and several hundred comments, most of them positive, which I'm very grateful for. And if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe. Please pass this along to others. I appreciate your time. Thanks a lot, everybody, for sticking with me, and I'm glad you tuned back in for the update on this gun.